welcome. You're watching live stream. I'm Natasha Jog. Now, this day, in fact, starting yesterday, has belonged to India's farmers. Farmers who walked 180 kilometers from Nashik to Mumbai. And just look at the kind of protest they've had. I'm going to flash my question there for you in just a bit. But just look at the kind of protest that they've had. We're just going to put up the question for you in a moment there. We're asking if farmers of India have taught us how to protest. Look at what they've done to ensure that there's no inconvenience to anyone at all. They have walked all through the night without any rest, without any break, without any sleep, because they said they didn't want to inconvenience all those students going to take their exams this morning. Interesting, most of them say that they are educated, never having got the opportunity to go to school or finish their education, but they realize the value of a good education. Now contrast that with the kind of protest that we have seen, where school children and school buses have been targeted by protesters. That was, of course, in the name of a film there, but we are used to vandalism, we are used to violence, all in the name of protest. And look at what the farmers are teaching us, that you can put your point of view across without inconveniencing anyone, and more importantly, while making everyone else a priority as well. They finally, at the end of today, somewhat got what they wanted. There they are sitting in Mumbai, but this is a day when they've really won hearts on social media. They've also won hearts of the people of Mumbai through the day, and we're going to show those images there. Through the day, we've seen people shower flowers on these protesters, offer them food, even offer them footwear. In fact, we have all those, as you can see there, of people sort of taking a step forward, saying thank you to the kind of protest that we are not used to seeing but have seen today. On that note, I'm going to be joined by some people from Mumbai this evening. Meenakshi is joining us, as is Gulmani. Meenakshi, you're from Mumbai. Look at the kind of protest that your city has seen today. What were your first thoughts when you heard of how this was going, that they were actually walking through the night, not taking a break, just so that students could take their exam without the headache of traffic jams?
Yeah. Yes. So interestingly, just the night before, we were having these conversations on various WhatsApp groups where the kids should be going to school and what kind of traffic would they meet, and college exams are happening. And as you know, what I saw in the news, it really touched my heart, because these farmers, they walk at 3:30, they cross, and they were so graceful and dignified, and it was a beautiful sight, because they walked with strength. There was no loudspeaker there, and no one even came to know that they were walking. And I happened to see this and the video, and it was really touching. And
of course it was.
A thing or two, like you just said. Yeah.
And that's a great word. It really is dignified. It just is. I mean, all they want is to put their view out there without causing any headache, without causing any hassle to anyone else. Dignified, that is the word. And we've seen the kind of hashtags that are trending on social media: compassion, respect, salute. Again, talk of Jai Kisan coming in. Now, for all those who are saying, that this is a political protest, that, who are the political groups who are responsible for getting the farmers out, what would you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
I'm saying that for all those who are saying that this is a political protest, that it's not spontaneous, that, there are certain organizations who brought them out, brought these farmers out, does that take away, you believe, from what they're trying to do here?
I do not follow their political agenda, so I'm not the best person to say something on this. But I'm sure it's between government and the farmer, or a middle path will be found. But I think all of us are people who live in Mumbai. We do hope that something will come this for the farmers. And
Okay, Meenakshi, I'm just going to interrupt you there. We're also having some trouble with your audio. I'm just going to try and see if we can just try and see if we can fix that. But we've got a call coming in from Kolkata. I want to underscore how India is really supporting the farmers there and what their protest is teaching us, a lesson in how to protest in a sense. Debali from Kolkata calling in. Go ahead, Debali. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Natasha. My question is like, how amazing is that like India is talking about farmers with awe and love today, but where are you when the daily suicides happen, when farmers are dying daily? Then nobody even cares, nobody even gives a second thought about it. But now everyone is speaking about them in so much respect and awe. This is literally a bit of hypocritical situation, I would say.
Yeah, perhaps you're not entirely wrong. Of course, we've got so used to those tragic numbers that keep out. I mean, again, we've seen the groups who are speaking here in Mumbai talk about how over 1,700 farmers have committed suicide, they said, from June of last year. I mean, 1,700, are these just mere statistics? Why don't we react every day? If I understand your point, Debali, why don't we react every day? Meenakshi, even as we wait for Riyaz to come in, Meenakshi, would you like to take that? I mean, all of us really are guilty in that sense, Meenakshi, aren't we? That now we are standing up and taking note, but just look at the distress, just look at the situation of farmers in India, look at the number of suicides. Do we care, you think?
What something, because there's more to it than what just meets the eye, and it's not right for me to say something very loosely, and I mean, what's right and what all I think from my point of view, someone who's observed this production that put up, it just reminded me of, we are serving country and
okay,
those things, So I think, yeah, that's something that I can say that they did a lovely job.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are putting our food on the table. They're responsible, for feeding us every day. Isn't it sort of about time, that we take their problems seriously, we understand what they are going through. We've got a caller, I'm told, calling in from Thane. Go ahead.
Hello, Natasha. I'm Mrs. Lobo from Thane. I would like to say that our farmers are actually having so much of problems and nobody has noticed it. And they have really, I think they have actually woken up. People should get awakened by what has happened now. They have come out on the roads and they are actually brought to notice that, like, people are just talking, but look at them, so organized, so well. The political people have not noticed what they are doing, what their plight is. Their plight is so pitiful. Our own farmers.
Right, our own farmers. I see what you're saying, again, coming back to the earlier point, these are people, they're one of us, they're feeding us, they're putting food on the table. Look at what they've had to resort to, but this evening, thankfully, they have managed to be able to some extent get their voices heard there. Before I go back to Meenakshi and hopefully try and get Riyaz in on the program, let's just see if we can go across to Colonel Shekhar. The Colonel's calling us from Trichy. Go ahead, Colonel, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good evening, Natasha. This is very personal for me. I have served in Satara as the vice principal headmaster of the Sainik school there. I've seen farmers committing suicide, their children coming to school, they're breaking down. And remarkably, we believe that they are not so-called educated. See how well, how humble they are. We as educationists learn a great deal. Wisdom is different from books. And even more importantly, whether they are organized or not, if they have brought this into the national mainstream. I am now in Tamil Nadu. How bad the situation is, perhaps worse than what is in Maharashtra. If the media can do it right, we might be doing the whole country a huge favor. Thank you.
Thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with us, Colonel. I mean, that is just the point, and that's the point that so many of them, sir, have made through the day, that, they're not educated, they haven't had the luxury, they haven't had the privilege of a good education, haven't had any education, in fact, many of them have said, but they realize the value of it. I mean, that to my mind just really says it all. Isn't that something that stands out, Meenakshi, that, I might not have got access to, schools, I might not be able to read or write, but I understand that this is the way that India's tomorrow will be shaped, that the young need to do this. And if it means that I have to inconvenience myself, I will do it. I mean, there is such a mammoth lesson there.
Absolutely. The way they have walked at 3:30 a.m. in the night, and the way, you know, I mean, they are villagers and they're people from villages. They've been walking for the last 5 days, I believe, and they've been so cultured about. I mean, they've behaved in such a right way. I mean, I wish you know, all of us would learn, you know, how to hold a procession like this. You know, how to get your voice across without being aggressive or, you know, like causing trouble, or, you know, could have had their loudspeakers blaring. It's such a done thing. I mean, but they didn't do any of that. I think, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I think we educated people have something to learn.
I see what you're saying. You know, that this is just underscoring everything that we've been talking about and why they won the hearts of people, not just in Mumbai. The city, of course, great Poland, has made that love known. Food, we are even told footwear, flowers and all of that. But Imtiaz is calling us this evening. Imtiaz, you're calling from Srinagar?
That's right, ma'am.
Go ahead, we want to hear you.
Yeah, actually, I really wanted to comment these farmers. Whatever is their cause, I'm really not interested in that. But the way they are protesting and giving way to their students, that they should not be disturbed. I'm actually from Kashmir. And whenever we have a strike or a call for a strike, the axe always falls on the students. And I wish our leaders take a lead and take a lesson from these farmers, that how to go for a protest or a strike. So whenever there's a call for a strike, at least let the kids be spared. Spare the kids, please, because they are our future.
Absolutely. You made such a great point there. I mean, all of us in different parts of the country have seen protests in Kashmir, in Srinagar. You have seen, you know, more than the rest of us have. And your point that this is how a protest should be held. You can have a grudge, you can have a grouse, you can make your point heard, but it doesn't have to mean that everyone else has to be held to ransom. It doesn't mean that everyone else has to be inconvenienced. It doesn't mean there's got to be any violence. It doesn't mean that, you know, there's got to be vandalism. You can be dignified about it. You can be compassionate and yet make your point heard. And that, to my mind, is the biggest takeaway from this protest that we've seen.